and salutations, and welcome back to another Europa Universalis 4 game with RedBstrd as Hindustan. Where we last left our nation, we were assisting our buddy Ayutthaya in their conquest of Yuan. I'm not sure how this is pronounced. And we helped them seize 3 different forts. We've done 87% of the fighting, so we can expect a lot of favors here. They should appreciate it. That'll translate into a lot of trust. We cash in those favors. Mongolia's got some rebels, but I think these guys are just passing through. No, they're probably going to these Khalkha lands. Not sure why they didn't stop here, but we'll move up and help deal with those guys. That's strange that the Ottomans are eager to get us as a friend. Now, 90 trust is a very critical number, because at 90 trust, another nation is not going to set the player, well, any other nation that they have 90 trust with, as a rival. So we've seen before that we run out of possible rivals, and once we're at peace, by the way, we're going to pick a new one. But we've seen that we run out of possible rivals, and the computer, the same thing has happened, and sometimes they'll rival their friends. That happened to us with Vijayanagar. We had been allies, and then they rivaled us, which broke the alliance between us. Oh yeah, this war's over now. Now that Ning pieced out and took some stuff, Ayutthaya has 100%. If you have 100 trust, the other nation will no longer set you as a rival. Guess there was 21 favors, that's pretty good. I think we're going to cash in those. Next year we'll have that 10th favor, so we can call them into a war if we need to. Okay, so they're stopping in Setsen. Okay, that is Khalkhin. So you could guess where certain kinds of separatist rebels are going to go based off of their culture. Like these guys are Shun separatists, so they're going to try staying in the areas that have Shun as these Shun cores. So they're unlikely to travel very far within Mongolia. If we leave them be, they will most likely capture this province and then move down into Yan's territory, where there's these cores of Shun, and try to make them into an independent nation. Reduce star overextension, complete our mission. Question is, do we actually ally Ottomans? That would ensure that Tabaristan is also not a threat to us. I do anticipate a conflict there. I mean, we could just fight against the Ottomans. I'm not sure. I mean, can we afford to waste that opportunity? They do have the largest army in the world. We have a lot more manpower than them, so I think we could take them in a fight. But maybe we should just get them as an ally. We're technologically advanced than them in terms of military attack. We have a larger army. Oh, these guys are being jerks. Okay, well, if that's what you want. We were just going to let you go south and liberate this territory. That's why you can't have nice things. That right there. Manpower reserves need to recover. We don't have any wars planned out at the moment. I mean, I'm obviously not opposed to going to war. We don't actively have a war in mind that we really need to be waging at the moment. So we'll take that mission. Because it's our only option. If we end up going to war, that's fine. Wow, how the mighty Ming have fallen. They have 2 provinces remaining to them. Okay, blasphemy. Do we gain piety, lose a little diplomatic power, or lose piety and prestige? We go the piety route. Ruler of Ayutthaya died. We really should wage one more war down here. We need to conquer Pegu. I like that Leinster's been fabricating claims on them. Wants to conquer this area. Bukhara send us an insult. They must have a babbling buffoon on the throne. They do. Our only possible rival is the Ottomans, so we really should decide whether we want to befriend them or rival them. We'll start building up a spy network here. We have the mission to conquer Mesopotamia. If you guys act on that, it's going to be war. Well, we do have 90 trust with Russia. They're not going to break the alliance. Over an Ottoman Hindustan alliance. So what are the Ottomans likely to do? Since we have the downloadable content that we need, we can take a look at what they would take this stuff if they had the opportunity, but it's not vitally important to them. So they haven't marked any Russian territory as being vital interest, any of our territory or vassals' territory. They're not even interested in anything we directly own. They view this as being something of utility, but they're not particularly interested in their allies' territory. They're more interested in these islands. And Serbia. So they want war with Hungary, who is under France in the Union. Alright, if you don't like our other rival, you've got yourself a deal, Ottomans. We'll ally you. Puts us 1 over in our diplomatic relations, but if we're going to befriend Ottomans, so we no longer have any use for Iraq, which we could have fed some Mesopotamian provinces. And one of them is pretty good. Baghdad is a valuable province. We're going to plan on integrating Iraq into our country. And integrating Mongolia into our country. Take that royal marriage. We'll give them military access as soon as we have a diplomat returned to us. Become the defender of the Sunni faith, obligating us to defend any Sunni within Asia against outward aggression. That's not a great option though, because Bukhara is probably going to be in conflicts with Russia quite frequently. I mean, they are currently, after all. Instead, I think we might be interested in actually attacking Buryatia, who is allied to Bukhara, and expanding that direction. Yeah, they actually have a Mongol core. So that's what we're going to do. And wait a month. And we're waiting this month just so that these relations improve. The month had already started. Okay. Let us, before we start that war, we want to ensure we have marked this province who does this belong to? Yan. That's a separate war, we don't really need to worry about that. This Buryatian stuff as being a vital interest to us. And then we're going to send up some troops to assist Mongolia in capturing it. Ooh, free stability or free prestige. We're maxed out in prestige, and stability is harder for us to get, so we'll go for stability. Now we are a highly stable nation again, like we were in the early game. We should send our generals to assist here. Let's give Ottomans... Okay, we already gave them military access. And it looks like they want a confrontation. We will give them one. So we're going to set our other general over here. He's not very good. But that's okay. Let's see, how happy is our Dhimmi? Our Dhimmi is really happy. We could give them some more land in our country, but at the moment it's not necessary. And I would like Mongolia to invade this area. Eventually taking Samarkand might be a good idea. I should check to see what Russia's actively interested in. Well, I have no interest in this stuff in Central Asia. No interest in Buryat territory. So I could express an interest in Samarkand, but it's 23 war score, and I would rather focus on getting this area for Mongolia. Comes down to a choice between that territory and this one. We can declare our own war over some of the Central Asian stuff. Cheaper infantry, that's great. It'll save us some money. And I think we're going to start building some more manufacturing buildings. So again, we're going to favor the provinces that have high development. The reason why we're doing that, once again, is because the next institution that could spawn is manufactories. And they look, when trying to decide where that's going to spawn, It considers all of the provinces in the same contiguous area with the nation's capital that are 20 development or higher that have one of these manufacturing buildings. So a textile manufactory, for instance, qualifies. As long as it's 20 development or higher. So we've got quite a few of those. Basically all of these yellow and green ones should be 20 development or higher. And we're doing our best to put buildings in there. We need one here once we save up a little bit more cash. And they do take like 6 years to complete. Something like that. I have to do the exact math. But we've got a nice head start on it, and even if it doesn't spawn in our country, and under the current patch it doesn't favor us. Oh, we took a loan. Okay, so there's a conflict between our emirs and our ulama. We just decreased our loyalty, so we need to side with the ulama. Sadly, there's nothing we could do in the next 10 years to get this loyalty up. Yeah, that'll hurt our manpower accumulation. Okay, Winter Siege. So there's a deadly siege going on here. Which core? Yes, where is that? Right here. Okay, we could either lose 2,000 manpower, just straight out of our pool, or we could lose 5 prestige and give the defenders here a little bonus. Well, they're going to surrender in a month anyway, so there's no reason to lose 2,000 manpower. If that was actually a fort, like this one, it might make sense to ensure that falls more quickly. Okay, so I could save up money to pay off our debt, but I think instead I'm going to commit to this idea of trying to get more of these manufactories in our country. In fact, let's double down on that idea. Let's raise some war taxes. I do win another one here, and possibly here. We only got a couple more years in which we could be working on these before we wouldn't be able to complete them by 1650. Though we are, again, the underdog in that race because the current patch favors provinces with a low province ID, meaning Europe. So these institutions are more likely, all things being equal, to spawn in Europe than they are in South Asia or the New World. But if that happens, any buildings that we've made here will contribute to the growth of that institution. It would just be nice to see one of them spawn in our country, since it is a walkthrough that's supposed to show how things work. We're ahead of time, so we're going to get this idea. Okay, so it gives us yearly army tradition. What does that do? Well, as I explained, our army tradition is the total accumulated experience of our army, how many veterans we have, how good our officer corps is. And it gives us bonuses right away to siege ability and morale, most importantly. It helps us with manpower. and our troops recover from battles. Now, we've seen our morale drop during battles, and it takes a little bit of time for that morale to go back up. Well, this speeds up that process. It also gives us better officers, but every year we do lose a little bit of it. It decays slightly. The greater our number of up-to-date forts, the less quickly it decays. So if we were really interested in keeping that maximized, we would upgrade our forts all to the most recent forts, and we would keep more of them than we would probably keep more of them than we have. Let's see, that's 23 development. Let's go ahead and put in a weapons manufactory there. It doesn't really matter to us what kind they are. So long as they exist. And they'll make us extra money, so it's useful. And we're just going to try beating up on Buryatia a little bit further to try knocking them out of the war. This stuff would be nice. They do have a gold mine here. It's pretty low production. It doesn't produce much gold. Like ours. This one produces more than twice as much gold. Gold production is linked to production here, and what it does is just adds gold directly to our economy. We just get it as extra money flowing in. We're making 18 ducats or so, rounded up, in gold each year, though it does give us a little bit of inflation. Let me see how long this video has been going on. 22 minutes. So we'll keep going here. Let me just check on the sound quality and everything. Seems like it is getting sound. And we've nearly captured this fort for Russia. I don't know exactly what Russia had claimed off the top of my head, but I'm going to transfer that territory over to them in case that's something that they had wanted. This stuff I'll leave for us because I don't think that they were interested in it. Okay, was it Sidia? No. Assam. There's Assam. Put the plantation there. And after 1644, I'm just going to try saving up money to pay off our loan. And the reason why I'm doing that is because they take about 6 years to build. Anything that we build after 1650 is not going to be considered for whether or not manufacturing spawns in our country. Because it should happen on January 1st, 1650. Anything that we build that finishes after that will help the spread of the institution. So it'll still be useful and it'll still make us more money. Fabricating on Pegu. Let's finish here. Get some claims. we want Pegu itself, would be nice. So this is saying anything that actually finishes after manufactories has spawned would be useful to us. Just less so. It's useful but not a priority, I guess would be the way to phrase that. Okay, so we got some of that territory, including the core, so that's useful. And they even gave that to Mongolia. So it gets us a little closer to that gold mine. And we got a share of their money from the peace deals. That'll let us build this in a month. And each of these manufacturing buildings, how they make us more money is that they add in one more good that's produced. It's like this one produces 1.51 goods. If we built a manufactory here, it would produce 2.52 goods, each of which is worth 4 ducats, so it would increase the trade value here, because those goods would get a little production off of them, and then they would go to market, and depending on our trade power in this area, they'd make Doab a little bit wealthier, and depending on our trade power, we would end up getting some measure of that wealth. And we have some really rich trade nodes here. So the wealthiest trade area in the world is the Indus, up by Genoa, and Goa's up there. Bengal and Ceylon have fallen a little bit, probably due to a lot of European nations having trade ideas, having large trade fleets, and starting to build these manufacturing buildings there as well. And now it's going to be 1644, so if these take 6 years to complete, we can expect that anything that we build in 1644 is not going to be completed until sometime in 1650. So we're now going to just save up money and pay off that debt. Let's transfer this over to Russia, just in case that was something that they were interested in. Same with this. And same with that. What exactly did they want again? Let's take a look. They're willing to take any of this. They have a strategic interest, and then this is vital interest to them. Okay, so cork bottle stoppers are a thing now. These just happen at various points, and Venice got it due to some number of wine producing provinces that they have, so wine becomes more valuable. And the Ottomans are clearly fighting against Lithuania, above Austria, several other nations, and they're losing that war at the moment, and their capital is in enemy hands. Okay, so this war was caused because Crimea attacked Lithuania and asked for Ottoman assistance. Be interesting to see if the Ottomans still lose that or if that's just a temporary setback. Losing your capital is kind of humbling. Guess we got a little bit of cash out of that, and 40 favors. Why don't we cash in a few of those favors to max us out to 100 trust. If we do that here, we're not going to launch another war that we need Ayuthaian assistance in for a couple years anyway. Probably just going to invade Pegu. Yeah, certainly going to invade Pegu. They have no one helping them. So we'll stick a general down there. We'll just split these troops up and get them back onto our territory. And we're going to be doing the same here. Just with Ning is over, but we don't share a border with them. We're not going to be attacking them immediately. Okay, let's see how long this video has been going on. It should be just over 30 minutes. It is 31 minutes. We're going to stop here and start up another one.